friends out there in FlossTube land. This is Barry with Stitch Folk. This is episode 3 of the Stitch Folk podcast. Today is August 15th, and I'm coming to you a little bit early this time. I'm going to be out of town until Sunday. Tomorrow, Grace, who is Paisley Stitcher, and I are going to be driving to Phoenix. And Phoenix in August, there's only one thing to do in Phoenix in August, and that's go to the attic and go to summer school. To say I'm a little excited, very much an understatement. There's just so much to do, but just to be able to take some time and have just stitching friends and stitching time, it's a dream come true, and it's right here. It's happening. So a couple of things I'd like to do today is give you an update on the tomato pincushion bags. I have a couple of pieces I've been working on these last, 10, 11 days. I haven't done very much stitching. I've just done a lot of sewing, so appropriately so. And then I have just a few things that that have come my way, and I have. I want to talk. I'm feeling a little scattered right now. My brain is already in the car for tomorrow. I have 3 giveaways, which I really didn't intend on doing giveaways, but I have a couple of things that would do, it's perfect for the season that's coming up, and someone else will be able to give them the attention that I'm not giving these projects. So, or one of them I already gave the attention. have used it and now I'm done with it. The other thing I want to go over is what I see happening in the next 6 months or so for Stitch Folk. I have one item that is will be new in my shop. I also have some fabric I'm going to show you that really gets me excited. So who doesn't get excited around fabric? So anyway, let me start with what have I been working on these last couple weeks, not even 2 weeks. Mainly I've put a few hours into Forevermore by Brenda, not Forevermore, Forever and Ever by Brenda Gervais. And I had the house done and some of the border done. So I worked mainly on the vine and I got the bird done. So I'll show you that. The fabric is 40 count, unknown origin. And these are I'm using the called for floss for that, which are Classic Colorworks, some Gentle Arts, and Weeks. And then I'll show you where I've gotten on that. So there was no ironing, obviously. So I had the house, the butterfly, some border, some vine. So I've done this top part of the vine, the bird, and then the vine below the bird. And this is what I'm gonna take to summer school with me. I started this in Idaho, and when my husband and I were up there for a medical procedure that he had, and then this is something I'd really like to finish, and I see it as doable for the amount of time I have to put in stitching, which right now doesn't seem like a whole lot. So no complaints. The next thing I put, weirdly enough, I pulled this out I think because I see it kind of on the regular. I think a lot of people are doing Consider the Lilies maybe on Sundays. I started this quite some time ago, and I thought I'll just chug away at the border. I have some done. I'm stitching it on Baby's Breath, 40 count Baby's Breath by Seraphim Fabrics, and I've got it upside down. I have this bit on the left, I guess it's on the right, my left right now, started. I have the words all the way across, and then last night I just kind of chugged, not very far, chugged away at the border. I thought that would be a good thing, I think, just to kind of get around on the border. I will probably pull this out on the weekends and just keep at it. It's something I absolutely love, but have no clear idea of what any expectation I have of it. It will get finished someday, but who knows when. So that's actually the only two I've been working on. And then the Sampler September is coming up, and I have a lot of options, maybe too many. I put my project bags up here, and I have some down below. I have a lot of samplers started. I don't know that went unnoticed on my first episode. Probably saw. But Kim Goldman and somebody, Kim Goldman, who is, I don't remember her FlossTube, the Contented Stitcher, I do remember. I think it started out as doing Louisa Barney by Reflet de Soie, and now I believe it's a stitch along that I believe is just a Reflet de Soie stitch along. Just doing it for Sampler September, and who knows what, something may stick, right? So I've actually started Louisa Barney more than once, and I have the Called for a Vera Soie, which I bought directly from Reflet de Soie. I bought it from Teresa at Kitten Stitcher. She carries some of their silk packs. This is being stitched on Vintage Tundra 40 count by Lakeside Linens. And I just have a little start in the upper, I'll show you, the upper right hand. Let me make sure it's the right hand, or is it the left hand? It is the left hand corner. So I have this bit right here started. This blue lettering in here, well, everything about this thrills me, but that blue lettering sets it off amazingly. That cow, geez. So I really, literally, just have a tiny start on it. This is a fairly green fabric, which I was hesitant to use, and I wish I had thought ahead to go get what inspired me to use this. But there is someone on Instagram, if you look up Louisa Barney, probably has the date on it. Louisa Barney, no E on that Barney, 1892. Somebody has used Vintage Tundra, and it just sings on that fabric. So, and I keep her in one of my first French General bags. Not a good combination, by the way. Not to my eye, but I have the leftover bags, just so you know. Well, I have a lot of leftover bags. A couple of things I've received. I'm going to back up a little bit. My friend Grace, who is Paisley Stitcher on YouTube, did her first episode yesterday. She's amazing, and her stitching is just, go see it. I can't even explain it. I start a lot of things that she starts, but I haven't finished anything, and she has finishes, and they're big, they're intricate, and anyway, she's an absolute delight. And we are driving to Arizona tomorrow to go to summer school. So we had lunch recently and exchanged some birthday gifts. And one of the things that she gave me is, the company is Dolls and Their Girls. I received one of these from Laura. I'm a pink, and I love pinks and reds. And so I think I now have, if I have two, I believe it's the edges of a collection, correct? So I have two pin cushions. This one came with little pink unicorn pins. So yeah, starting my collection of pin cushions. She also gave me a Northumberland sampler bag, one of the canvas bags. I don't have it here where I'm sitting. And then I think what could only be described as an onslaught of Blackbird charts. So there have to be 7 or 8 of them, quite a pile of them. So those got instantly absorbed into my Blackbird Designs folder files that I use. And thank you, Grace. Thank you so much. And Mexican food, she and I know what to do with a enchilada and a chile relleno, that's for sure. A couple of things that one thing I received was a chart by Whilst Iris Naps. Excuse me for the. It's Martha Martin, 1831, and this was a reproduction that was made for the Sampler Guild of the Rockies. I not only have not started it. There was a stitch along that began, a stitch in basically, that began on Saturday. But this chart, it has everything. It's 266 by 266, so it's not small, but not terribly large. It's charted in weeks. I'm looking at the back here. And of course that's a DMC conversion, but it's just beautiful. I probably am not going to get to it right away. It's not happening in Sampler September. The other thing that I have that I haven't even opened yet, because as you know, Country Sampler has a way of packaging their things that is, you almost don't want to unwrap them. But this is, what is her name? Jane Charlotte Wynn, a reproduction by the Scarlet House. Tanya Brockmeyer, you do color like nobody's business. These are just amazing. So of course, as you know, it gets kitted up by the fairies at Country Sampler, and they make it beautiful. It's like receiving a present. So I'm very excited to have this. It also isn't going to get any attention, probably not this year. This is from the Threads of History Club. I don't know how I don't even know how I got in it. I wish I could tell you. I'm sure, I like to say I'm at that impressionable age, that if somebody has something, shows something, that might explain a lot of this, and possibly a lot of this. But I'm at that impressionable age, you know. If you're doing it, I want to do it too. So the next thing I want to show you is a little bag that I'm making. This is, I always make a working prototype. I rarely make anything that isn't usable. I usually use my first quality fabrics. I make something, even if I'm doing prototypes, with the intention that it's going to be used. So this is not anything new. I mean, you guys have seen this. Maybe the construction will be a little different because it also has, it's got the vinyl front, of course, but it has these flanges of fabric to let whatever you put in it stick out. I'm calling this a spools and tools bag because kind of started out with, again, Tanya Brockmeyer asked if I, of Scarlet House, had anything that is made for spools where you can see what's in what you have. So I'm making them so that they fit 12 spools. I'm not taking custom orders at all, but you will see these in my shop, I believe in September. If not September, definitely October. So the spools and tools bag, it along with the Stitch Folk Silk Saver will be the 2 new items that I have coming in my shop. So speaking of my shop, so here's what this next 6 months mostly looks like. We are living in San Diego. I'm from here. I spent 20 years up in Washington, up on Whidbey Island. And about 4.5 years ago, my husband's job brought him down here. He worked for the Department of Defense. And I never thought I would move back, ever. In fact, there were tears. There were definitely tears. We had a beautiful home and lived on an island facing overlooking the water and the ferry system and the Olympic Mountains. And it's my kind of weather up there. I'm fair-haired, freckled, and built for cloud cover. So he also doesn't really want to live here, and it's not our forever place. My mom is still here, my brother and his family. So I have a reason to be here, but I don't have to live here full time for that. So he's since in the last 6 months has changed from working for the government to working in the private sector. And we've decided to start looking for a house. And so we're going to start looking in Ohio. And our friend Kelly and his husband John live in Poland, Ohio, which is very similar. This little village feeling of just, it's small and quaint, and you can get anywhere from there. It's just, I mean, let me back up a little bit, because in San Diego, if we go north, we're in Los Angeles area, and north it's very busy, south is Mexico, west is water, and east is desert. And I mean, Phoenix is where, the only thing I head towards east, and possibly Las Vegas. We have a daughter in Las Vegas. So so we're really positive that going to Poland, Ohio is our next step. We get to be around really good friends. My daughters are in Lima, Ohio, which is on the other side of the state. And we are a drive from Brenda and Laura, from Hobby House Needlework to, it's just a beautiful central location. And I'm ready for some small town again. I'm very, very happy to be in a small town. So coming back to San Diego kind of took that away. So having said that, we're looking for a home. We will be moving. The other thing is I have a lot of fabric, and I would like to make a lot of bags to sell and maybe move less fabric to Ohio. And so what I'm not going to do this year, but I am going to do next year, is the applique Christmas bag and the applique fall bag, fall / possibly Halloween. I really want to dive in to having my shop filled up. It's empty. It's empty all the time, and it frustrates some. It creates anticipation in others. It does frustrate me a little bit. So I get anxious. I get anxious that it looks like I've disappeared. Speaking of applique bags, I'll touch on that in just a minute. So I'm going to show you some fabric, and then not the stuff that's behind me, but the fabric that's calling to me saying, it is time. It is time for you to make me into something. And these are some of my favorites. These are all long out of print, kind of like charts you can find on the secondary market or borrow and not use them up. Fabric isn't like that. I mean, it's either available or it's not. Some you can find on the secondary market. These are really old. They're not antique old. They are old as in they were printed 10, 12 or more years ago. And fabric doesn't last. These here that were printed, they were printed last year, I'm sure, but distributed this year. The threads that bind, unless Alma and Moda have some agreement for a later date, which that I'm not speculating that there is one, they won't get printed again. That's something that this line is done. Same thing mostly with French General. They once in a while seem to do kind of a collection of like some anniversary type collections. But when you see a fabric, you've just got to get it. If it's something you want to use or you suspect you're going to want to use in the future. For me, because it's bags and accessories, I actually could just use linen and then decorate that, or not linen that we stitch on, but other linen. But there's a lot of fabric out there that I really love. So some of the ones that I found that are itching to be made into something. And those of you that went to the Bristol Sampler Weekend will recognize these images, and a lot of you will as well. But I have a number of yards of this fabric, and these are squares are about the size of business cards, a little bit bigger. And I haven't fully decided exactly what these are. I need to see how they fit into what I make. But it's stunning. I'm seeing needle books and that kind of thing. It was available in red. I've never seen it in real life in red. If any of you have it in red, I'll pay a lot. In that same fabric line, maybe not the same line, let me double check. It is the same line. I knew it was the same designer. This is more needlepoint style, but it's very colorful, and it's just, oh, it's just so beautiful. These are a little more possibly postcard size, really, but look at that. Oh my goodness. But don't they just lend themselves to some of the things I make? I mean, just like, you know, I love to put a patch on things. I like to make a patch and put it on. So these will be in panels or patches or something. And then I have a fabric fairy in my life. I have a couple, actually. And one of them gifted this fabric, which, let me remind myself, it's Anna Griffin. And again, cross stitch, red. Yeah. And there is a bolt of this. So there will be stuff coming out of this, and it'll be a lot of fun to put together. I'm really excited to get to these. And then I also have the blue colorway. So I feel very, very fortunate. As much as I love to, well, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but I do love to sew. And I have a little tale I'm going to tell about that. But fabric just makes my mouth water. Linen that we stitch on, absolutely mouth watering to me. I just really appreciate all fabrics. So I'm going to show you one more thing, and this is actually how come I sew. And it's going to be, yeah, it's this. So I have a photo that I use for a lot of my social media, and it's a little round, well, it's round, I think, because that's how they do them, but it's a little black and white photo of me with my eyes really wide open, and I'm the summer between 7 and 8 years old. And that same summer, those in my vintage, I'm 60, so born in 62, and there was, not summer school, we had a thing called recreation, and you could go choose classes to take. And one of the things that was offered was kite making. Kite making class was full. So I took sewing, and it was a hand sew. I hand sewed, this was the project, I hand sewed it. The nose, this is Sherpa fabric. The nose is a separate piece that we stitched on, embroidered their face, embroidered the eyes, the yellow ribbon, put it on there. So this was the summer between, I was 7 and 8, so that would have been 1969 to 1970. So that's, yeah, this would have been the summer of 1970. I made this, and I was hooked, absolutely hooked, until high school. And then I didn't want to sew. But I took it in high school because I could do it, and it was easy. Anyway, this is what started me sewing. My mom had it for many years. She was getting rid of all the things that my brother and I left at her house. And so I have him now. Him, her, I never named it. Don't know who it is. If you have a suggestion, maybe it's time for a name. She's over 50 years old. Yeah, she'd be 53 or 52. Anyway, I appreciate this so much because this is how I can trace back my love of sewing. My mom had a sewing machine. She made all kinds of things, but she didn't teach me how to sew. It was just, if it was up, I was able to use it. It was an old singer, and the words that I have connected to that period of my life were slow down. I would sew with my, back then the foot pedal had just a little toe thing, and I would just put my whole foot on it and send it as fast as it would go, which really isn't that fast, but to my mom's ear, it was very fast. So that is really all I have to share. Oh, no, it's not. I want to say thank you to Roberta Lyle and Lenny of the Sable Stitchers for saying such kind words about my FlossTube, and also to Sarah and Sarah's Stitchy Spot, who is the most heartwarming, lovely woman. And to watch her and her husband, I had to watch it a couple of times because they're just, I'm going to use the word delicious because I seem to use that a lot. Absolutely delicious to watch. So I really appreciate your kind words. I know Brenda and Laura have mentioned maybe once or twice about my FlossTube, and I really appreciate that. I didn't touch, I'm wrapping it up, but I'm not really done. So the tomato bags, I'm behind. I have more orders than I ever thought. I had almost twice as many orders than I thought I would have. Everything is well underway. I don't do things like, I have 3 colorways. All of one colorway is done, and the other 2 colorways are well underway, but they're not completed. So I'm not used to being behind in anything. That's not my method. I'm always early. So if you have a bag or if you're waiting for a bag from me, I apologize for being late. And here I am leaving for 5 days. That's still going to happen. I'm still leaving for 5 days. And when I get back, it will take me probably 2 weeks to complete all the remainder of the bags. It's putting the zippers in, doing the lining, even down to the point of the finish work on them. I press them all. I check every edges and check if there's any threads in the inside, if I need to remove anything. And then they go in a cellophane bag. Their little tomato is in there with the pin that has the button and a charm on it. They go in a bag, and then I print off their labels. And anyway, it's every step just seems to take longer in reality than it does in my mind. I think for sure I can finish a specific thing in one day, and that does not happen. I don't know. I always think by this age I would have got that kind of stuff figured out, but your bag is coming, and I'm not doing other sewing until they're done. So I just want you to know that I appreciate your patience, and I'm back on, I believe, the 21st. So whatever a week from today is, solid sewing until every bag is out. And then after that, I am going to solely focus on bags to go in my shop. And by that time also, I'll have my website up and running. Right now, I believe if you go to stitchfolk.com, it just says that it's coming. So, and I will be starting a newsletter. There's a lot of people that don't do Instagram, Facebook. They watch FlossTube though, that won't get updates on Instagram, or won't be able to get updates. My Instagram goes straight to Facebook when I do a post. So I will have a newsletter, and it's the people that sign up for this newsletter that will get, or an email list, they'll get the information first, always. And I have some plans for that. So anyway, thank you. I have 3 things to give away, and I'm going to have to keep them in the US because actually I'm going to keep the 2 in the US. The other one can be worldwide. So the first one, and this will be the worldwide one, I stitched Fancy Blacket. This was my first stitch along I did with my friend Kelly, and she's delightful. There's quite a few Fancy Blackets, and anyway, she's kind of tiny. She is, let's see, I'm sure it's in here. I'm just not seeing it. It's not on the back. It says 11 by 11 piece of fabric, which that gives you the border. It ends up being smaller than 8 by 8 on a 36 count. So if you would like for me to send Fancy Blacket to you, and I might put the thread in, I might put the floss in. I whispered that, so don't tell me that you're, don't message me and tell me that all of a sudden the sound went down. So I probably will add the floss to it. So if you would like Fancy Blacket and her floss, just put Fancy in your comment and put you in the running for Fancy Blacket and her floss. The other two are by Brenda Gervais, and I kind of thought I would do these. I'm not going to do these. I really like them, and I love Brenda Gervais' charts. So this is the little wooden box. This one has caramel corn, little felt caramel corn pieces, and the chart. So you get the wooden box, the caramel corn, I believe there's probably 3 in there, and the chart. And keep this one in the US. The title of this is Lollies, Crows, and Candy Corn. So if you would put candy corn in your comment, put you in the running for this. But be in the US because I'm paying shipping, and you know, it's kind of pricey. I pay shipping for all the bags too, and my shipping costs are really high. But that is, I say that like it's a complaint. It is not a complaint, because if I'm paying for shipping, it means I'm selling bags, and I want to sell bags. This is the second one. I love fall most of all. So this one also has the little wooden tray. I think I might have said box in the other one. It's a tray. I believe it has 3 pumpkins in it, and this chart, which is just delightful. So the word for this one will be fall. So candy corn for this one, fall for this one, and then fancy for the chart and the floss. I know you all know all the rules. Please don't put giveaway or whatever all the other words are. And please be over 18, because I will be asking you for your address. When I get back in a week, I will, in 2 weeks when I do another FlossTube, I'll have drawn the winners and notified them. I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anything. I have a small request, only if you're inclined. I did not used to really care for making the fully lined bags. Those are the ones I'm actually making a lot of. Those are like the applique bags or bags with panels on the front versus the vinyl front bags. So if you've gotten this far in this video, if you have a preference of the fully lined or vinyl front, I would love to know. It's not like any of them stick around. I mean, I think I could put vinyl bags in and they all do sell out. But what's your preference? The vinyl bags do take less fabric and they cost less for me. When I sell them, they're less money. And then the fully lined bags just take more fabric and more time. I'm undecided on what I like best. I kind of like the vinyl front because I love to see what's inside, but I like the malleability. You know what I'm, the moldiness, the foldiness. I like how a fully lined bag just accommodates more. So anyway, I would love to know your thoughts on that. And I will take pictures at summer school. I'm sure you'll see a lot of photos and videos, and but I will report back. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.